Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to look at the latest on the cold and potentially snowy weather that we're going to be seeing over the next week or so. Temperatures are going to be progressively dipping as that very cold Arctic air does return. Come the end of this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some areas are unlikely to get much above freezing with snow showers coming in from the east. It is going to be a really quite cold spell through the end of November and start of December. Still some uncertainty exactly how long it will last. Some runs bringing it all the way into the first full week of December, other runs cutting it off around this time next week. But regardless, for all, it's going to be at least 3 to 5 days of pretty bitterly cold conditions and, of course, the risk of snow. Now, in the last couple of videos, we have been looking at the risk of some frontal snowfall in the south, and if you are looking forward to snow, unfortunately, it is looking like that system is going to be drifting slightly further southwards than anticipated a couple of days ago. That is what normally happens with these lows, but we had to report what the models were showing, and of course, it still doesn't completely negate any snowfall. There will still probably be some impacts right along the south coast, but widespread precipitation is looking unlikely. Now, the other side to that is it actually allows an even stronger easterly wind to come in, which will mean snow showers will be more widespread further eastwards, and it will pull in even colder air. So yes, we might not see widespread precipitation, but what we will see is colder conditions, more showers, and those showers will all be falling as snow because that air mass is that much colder. So in this video, we'll concentrate on all the precipitation charts and temperature charts over the next few days, looking at the UKV, arpège, icon, and the eastern OF precipitation charts, and then we'll just finish up by having a look at some of the longer range stuff, as we still want to keep intact with what is going on with the longer range as we do progress into December. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see the rain that we've seen over the past 24 hours or so is now pulling out into Europe, and it is hitting the colder air across much of Central and Eastern Europe, and you can see actually some quite widespread snowfall across much of Germany and down towards the Alps. Now, for the UK, we are starting to pull an easterly wind, and you can see lots of heavy showers for the north and east. Now, in about 2 days' time, these would all be falling as snow, but at the moment, the air mass is a lot colder than the milder air mass we saw move in, but it's not quite cold enough for snow yet. Dew points are still slightly above freezing, and the air mass, or the air at the surface, is still about around that 3 to 5 degree mark. But as we see in the minute with the UKV, the air mass is going to be progressively getting colder, and by tomorrow afternoon, we'll all be in snow-conducive air coming in from the east. But at the moment, a bit of winteriness over the higher ground, but most of these showers are rain, even though it does feel very cold out there as that wind does veer in from the east. Now, if you look at the latest temperatures as of around 7 p.m, you see temperatures are falling away significantly now. You see where the bitterly cold air to our east is. This is where the air is coming from for the UK for the next few days, all the way up from Denmark up towards Scandinavia, where we are seeing widely temperatures down to sort of minus 10 to even minus 20 degrees in some areas. You see the milder air to our south that did give us all the rain is pulling away. You see already the higher ground here is starting to drop a lot colder, and even across the Republic of Ireland now, where we're seeing clearer skies, those temperatures are starting to drop away as well. And as by tomorrow afternoon, we're probably going to see temperatures not higher than what we're seeing right now, if not colder in some areas as that air mass moves in. Now, if you go over to the latest UKV and see what it is showing over the course of the next 5 days, you can see all the rain moving in from the east at the moment, very little of it falling as snow, but progressively, as we head through the next few days, more of these showers will be falling as snow. Now, through this evening, the showers will die out a little bit as the wind does die down. But as we progress into Tuesday afternoon, you can see more of those showers across Scotland are falling as snow now as the very cold air mass moves in. And look out to the North Sea, more of those showers are falling as snow, even out to sea, implying that cold air freezing level is dropping down towards sea level. As we progress through Tuesday afternoon, you see some quite frequent snow showers into parts of eastern Scotland and even northeastern England. And I think tomorrow morning we could start to see our first maybe yellow snow warnings issued for Scotland there. As yes, it's not significant in terms of not seeing people getting buried, but 2 to 3 centimetres of snow, 5 centimetres of snow, it can still be pretty impactful in these areas, especially early on in the season when people aren't expecting it. Remember, 20 degrees about 6 weeks ago. So, yeah, this is coming on, going to be quite a big shock to many people. As we do progress beyond that through Wednesday, you can continue to see more showers packing into the east. So if you are in parts of the northeast, like Newcastle, those sort of areas, could see quite a few snow showers through Tuesday and Wednesday. As we progress through Wednesday afternoon, more showers packing into the east, perhaps drifting inland at times, especially across parts of Scotland through Monday evening. And then you can see that persistent precipitation further southwards is now heading mostly into France. Still, as I said, could clip the far south coast and again could see some snow mixed in with this. But at this stage, we're not looking at anything too widespread or too impactful. But what it does do, as we'll see with the temperatures in a minute, it draws a bitterly cold easterly wind in as those isobars tighten as the low pressure is further southwards. We continue to see snow showers packing in from the east and potentially even disturbances developing. Here, UKV has a disturbance from northern England to Scotland here, again, would give a few centimetres of snow. And then as we progress through Friday afternoon, more heavy snow showers packing in from the east. You will look here and see not too much in the south by this stage. A few showers could drift in at times, and that's the UKV is just not showing much today for snow further southwards. But as we'll see from some other models in a minute, they do produce some snowfall further southwards. It is all dependent on areas or exact wind direction and any disturbances that do crop up. For example, the icon does develop some snow further southwards, accumulating snow, and so does the ECMWF actually into Sunday. So we'll have a look at those in a minute. So if you've seen that and you like your area and you don't see any snow, don't take these charts too literally at this stage, because this is all convective based now. And again, that will change at a very short notice. Yes, the general areas of showers will be concentrated further eastwards, but saying exactly how much snow we'll see, exact timings, and whether we see any disturbances, which is where we see some more heavier snow collecting into areas of showers, we'll have to wait till nearer the time. But if you do have a look at the upper air temperatures, you can see through this afternoon, cold air is running back in. But you see the coldest air is still way out into the North Sea. For most areas, it's around the -3 to -4 degrees at 850 HPA. Still cold, still feeling really chilly out there, but nowhere near cold enough for snow at this stage. But as we progress into Tuesday, as I said, that -5 to even as low as -9 degrees at 850 HPA spreads in. And for most areas, especially eastern areas, that air has moved in by Tuesday afternoon. Through into the start of Wednesday, very cold air spreading in, even -9, maybe -10 degrees across Scotland as that Arctic blast arrives, and it continues to progress southwards and pretty much dominate through much of Wednesday and Thursday, and continue all the way into the weekend. And perhaps the coldest air will be into the first couple of days of meteorological winter into December through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So yes, in the next few days it is going to be cold, but the coldest condition is actually coming right to the end of this UKV run. It is pretty typical with these sort of colder patterns. We all look at the start of the cold run, but sometimes the worst conditions, the colder conditions, and even the snowiest conditions could come later on in the run. So yes, it is looking really cold in the next few days, potentially snowy as well, but don't discount later on of these runs, and even outside of the UKV's time frame through Sunday, Monday, as we'll see in a minute, things are cropping up for that period. If you do have a look at the max temperatures, you can see through this evening temperatures widely in the mid-single digits, dropping away towards freezing in some areas, but nothing too crazy. In towards Tuesday afternoon, as I said, temperatures not going to be much higher than what it is currently, with maybe 6 or 7 degrees in the far southwest at best. Further northwards, not getting much above freezing. And then the widespread frosts are going to return for Tuesday night into Wednesday. Could be a bit dependent on cloud amounts further southwards and westwards. You can see a big distinction there. Again, that is just due to cloud, but we could see those frosts develop widely as well, if that cloud does break up at short notice. As we progress beyond that into Wednesday, temperatures not getting much above freezing in many northern areas. Even so, the southwards only 3 or 4 degrees, and we're in the first couple of days of the colder air. Into Thursday, look at that, overnight temperatures widely below freezing. Doesn't matter whether you've got cloud in the sky, showers, widely down towards freezing, if not below freezing in many areas. Into Thursday afternoon, quite a few areas not getting above freezing. All of northern England, all of Scotland, most of Wales, and quite large parts of England as well, really hovering around that 0 to 2 degree mark. And again, UKV is probably overdoing the temperatures in a few spots as well. And then finally, as we progress into the weekend again, frost in many regions. Again, not as likely further south and eastwards because we have more cloud, but then of course there is the risk of more showers and snow. As we head through Friday afternoon, temperatures again not getting much above freezing, even across central England there, only 0 to 2 degrees widely. And then as we head into the weekend, again another widespread overnight frost, and Saturday, ice day for many. All of Scotland, most of Northern England, many parts of Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Wales, and England threatening an ice day there where temperatures don't get much above freezing. Now, if you look at some other charts looking at mainly precipitation here, if we do start on the R pairs run, you can see showers are minimal over the next sort of 12 hours or so, but snow showers will start to push back in from the east through Tuesday evening. Along the east coast, again, lots of snow showers potentially packing in there at times, but again, mainly across that Scotland and northeastern England point through Wednesday. Then could see some more showers developing into Thursday, even some further inland across England or Wales there. Again, our pairs really probably underdoing the widespread nature of these showers, but it does highlight the most likely regions. And through Thursday evening, again, showers pushing inland and could produce some accumulations in places and even some heavier snow maybe in the far southeast, a bit of a streamer potentially developing for Kent there for the early parts of Friday. And then as we head into the weekend, continued shower risk. And you can see the wind direction starts to change. What that could do is allow some of these areas out in the Atlantic, these small features, disturbances, to come in and give snow. And also see in a minute, that's what the ECMWF does, and it gives a blanket of 5 to 10 centimetres of snow for parts of Wales and England. So we have to keep an eye on that through the weekend. So yes, not cropping up in the very short range runs at the moment, but that is something in sort of a 5 to 7 day time frame that could cause issues. Now, if you look at the latest icon run, again, showers, mainly rain at the moment, will die out over the next sort of 12 hours, and they'll reinvigorate through tomorrow. Snow showers coming in from the east could be quite heavy through Scotland and northeast England, progressively moving in off the North Sea. And you can see pretty much all showers inland by Thursday are falling as snow. Continue to potentially see more features and squalls coming in from the east there. Look at that, widespread snow showers coming quite far inland through Thursday, in a very strong brisk easterly wind, and even some precipitation impacting the far southeast there. So you can see, yes, all the runs have got a very similar pattern, but their exact position of precipitation and intensity of the precipitation and snow very different indeed, even at only a 3 day lead time. That's why I said don't take the latest UKV too literally. As we progress beyond Thursday afternoon, those showers continue, and we can actually see some really quite heavy snow in the far southeast there. Snow showers do band together, and we see the back edge of that low pressure system that moves more in towards northern Europe through Friday. Beyond that, in towards Saturday, the wind direction changes more to a northerly, so the showers further southwards would be cut off, but it does open northern and western coasts up a little bit more to snow showers. And as I said, we could start to see the risk of snow coming in from the west as it does progress along the northerly wind, and you can see even some mix of snow there across southwest England and this system coming into parts of Republic of Ireland. The only issue you'd say with that is it does bring the risk of milder air. You can see that in the far west, milder air pushing in at day 5 there. But again, you always run that risk when you have got winds veering in from the west. If you look at the ECMWF finally, again showing this mainly because of that system we do see on Sunday from this, you see over the next sort of 24 hours, very similar to the other runs, snow showers eventually coming in from the east through Wednesday and Thursday, could be quite eventful in places, again mainly in the north, and showers could exist further south to the east, which you can see they're coming inland at times there through Thursday and Friday. But really the interest from this run is into the weekend. Look, as that wind veers to a northwesterly, that's what the other runs were showing, but we couldn't really get out into the correct time frame to see this. But the ECMWF does move a little disturbance in from the west, and it does give some really quite heavy snow across much of Wales and England. Again, it could be quite marginal in places. It does have some milder air wrapped in within it, but it does develop an area of about 5 to 10 centimetres of snow before eventually clearing and pushing us back into a colder northeasterly flow there. Again, if we have a look at these snow depths, you can actually see, again, don't take this literally. Again, it's not going to happen exactly like this, but it just gives you an example. Lots of snow showers in the east. You can see some white patches there indicating accumulations across Kent, parts of East Anglia, up towards northeast England and Scotland. And then you can start to see that swathe of maybe 5 to 10 centimetres of snow across Wales and the Midlands into southeast England there. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. So yes, the event perhaps on Thursday looking nowhere near as intense as it did yesterday or the day before, but remember there are other different patterns that could crop up, other different systems that could crop up to give that snow, whether it is later this working week, into the weekend, or beyond. Now, if we do finish the video, we'll just briefly have a look at some of the longer range. I do want to keep on top of that so we know how long this cold spell will last. You see the northeasterly winds pushing back in at the moment. That low pressure runs to our south through the weekend. As I said, doesn't give us our widespread snow, but instead it brings in that even colder air and allows those disturbances to form and the heavy snow showers to form through the weekend. Beyond that, the GFS tries to turn us westerly in around a week's time, and it's successful around next Wednesday to Thursday time, where the westerly winds push back in. Still some blocking around, but nowhere near strong enough to hold off the westerly flow. So in general, turning us milder and more Atlantic based. As we'll see with the ensembles at the end of the video, there are two scenarios. One of the scenarios is this, the other scenario is what we see from the ECMWF in a minute, which is holding that block together and continuing the easterly winds. Now, if you compare to the GM, see what that is showing. Again, low pressure pushing away out into Europe. The low pressure through Thursday pulls to our south and does pull in very cold easterly winds. Beyond that, we do eventually see low pressure come back in off the Atlantic by the middle of next week, and similar to the GFS, it goes pretty mild and unsettled. The blocking hasn't completely disappeared. It is still up into the northern hemisphere, just not in a position to impact the UK all too much. Now finally, as I said, let's have a look at the ECMWF, which does, as I said, go pretty cold and snowy, even into the longer range. You can see, again, low pressure pushing out to our south, very similar to the other runs with easterly flow, and then you see the westerly winds look like they're going to come back in for the start of next week. But look at this, another extension of high pressure up towards Iceland, and it continues that east to northeasterly wind by day 10. Yes, here we're starting to see some milder air trying to nudge in, but look at the block to our east. It is going to attempt to pull in this bitterly cold air towards us, and again, it will be one to keep a very close eye on, and as we see in the ensembles now, there is a big split. If we start on the GFS, you can see that the majority from the GFS here go above average, or at least towards average with milder westerly winds. But said very cold over the next week to even as long as 10 days. You can see, though, maybe a quarter to a third of the GFS ensembles keep us at -5 or even colder as they hold that easterly wind coming in with higher pressure, keeping us bitterly cold. You can see this, if we have a look at the sea level pressure, huge spread. The ones with higher pressure will be cold, frosty, but will have that high pressure northward, so it could actually be snowy as well. The ones with lower pressure will be unsettled and westerly. Another way to view is to look at the dew points, some very cold dew points in the longer term, -5 to -10, that is freezing cold air. But then some other runs are up towards +10. So yes, definitely a bias here from the GFS for milder conditions, but you can't discount it. We've got these sort of two scenarios, so about 2/3 are going the milder scenario, and about 1/3 are staying cold, blocked, and potentially still pretty snowy. If we do have a look at the ECMWF, unfortunately the midday run hasn't fully come out yet, but you can see again very similar over the next week to 10 days, very cold and potentially snowy. As we do progress into the longer term, you can see again there is that cluster that go milder, but maybe more of a 50-50 here between cold runs and mild runs. So definitely ECMWF ensembles more on board with the colder pattern. You can see some insanely cold runs continuing that include the Eastern operational run there. Yes, it doesn't extend out to the full 14 days, but quite a few runs continue that trend of keeping us bitterly cold and potentially snowy. Yes, other runs go much milder, and as I said, about a 50-50 split at this stage. So we're just going to have to see what the longer term does have in store, but I would not be surprised if cold weather does continue into December. Maybe takes a brief break for a few days, or maybe 5 days or so, but I do think from the looks of some of these longer range charts, and from what I've seen from some of the climate drivers over the next few weeks, definitely I think there is a strong possibility of some cold weather returning or maintaining itself into December. Even only a week or two ago, I heard many people saying that mid-December looks like it could potentially go cold. A lot of climate drivers like the MJO is suggesting we could see more amplification. In fact, we're seeing it now, even without those sort of climate drivers impacting us all too much. So it'll be very interesting to see what we see in the next few weeks. But for the time being, disruptive weather is a risk this week. At this stage, we know it's going to be very cold. It's going to be very frosty, lots of ice around, and yeah, the wind chill is going to make it feel well below freezing for all. Snowfall, still very uncertain exactly where we'll see it, but at the moment, eastern Scotland, northeastern England look likely to see lots of showers. Elsewhere, everyone has a risk because of disturbances that we are still monitoring, and we will just have to keep a very close eye on over the next few days. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.